12:06 Croatia time. We tabled this, right? So the chair will entertain a motion to bring election results back on the floor. Yeah. Any discussion? Any objections? Seeing none, we are back on election results. Peter.
Hello everyone. Right, so we're done with the Secretariat voting count, and we have our 8 Secretariats. Right. In alphabetical order. Congratulations.
Okay, so the chair is going to recognize you. Get ready. I'm going to do the names real quick. Hold on. Okay, so there's Ellen, Emily, Ina, Jacqueline, Julia, Baran, Simon, and Tama are the new Secretariat 2019-2020. Congratulations. Wow, Ellen, that looks great. You guys are cute. All right, congratulations to everybody who was elected.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Thanks for having a very effective and I hope fun for the election. Congratulations to everyone that was nominated and selected. I hope it will be a fruitful year. Thank you.
The chair will now entertain a motion to take the resolution on 68 IVSA Symposium off the table. Kindly. Love doing this. Any discussion on that? Oh, thanks, Lisa. Any discussion? Any objections? Hearing none, it is now on the floor. Okay, thank you. Be careful. Now that it's on the floor, is there any discussion on the resolution on 68 IVSA Symposium, aka Morocco? Kirsten.
So, Kirsten Abraham, IVSA Austria. I would like to, you already know what I'm doing, huh? So,
I will start with I move. Then.
I move to amend the resolution. So it would state, next point, so 3, should be above conditions not being met by 24th of September, the event can be cancelled at the discretion of the EXCO.
Did you say December or November?
September. That makes more sense.
Second.
Is that what you wanted? Okay, I heard a second already. So, any discussion on the amendment to the resolution, which is point 3? Yeah.
Just to explain why I'm doing that, it's just to make sure we have a deadline. So also the OC knows when there will be another decision making, because you pointed out 1 month is not enough time for them. So now it's 2, but we always have to keep in mind if we need to cancel it because we see it is not working out. The problem is that if we don't find another country to make an SGA, we will have an online event. If you don't know what it is, it means we sit in front of the computer, have 20 hours of GA, and then go away. And I don't think we really want to do that. So if we keep postponing this discussion, we risk having an online event with full of wonderful 20 hours of GA hours on our computers. And I'm not sure if you all want to do that. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion on the amendment to the resolution? Megan?
Megan, Morbius, IVSA Savma. I feel like the 24th of September is kind of late.
Kirsten?
Yes, a suggestion would be maybe do it before applications open. I
Kirsten, you can't talk to her.
I move to amend the amendment by changing 24 September to September 10th.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, so now all you're discussing is the number 10, not as an idea in this context. Any discussion on 10 verse 24? All right then, any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, any discussion on the amendment to the resolution? The bold part. Charlotte. You go, girl. Slowly but surely.
Charlotte Laudy, IVSA Exco. Just to make clear, on point 2, we are actually already stating that the executive committee is allowed to cancel if the conditions are not met by the 24th of 2019. It's just stated differently because we would rather try to adjust it first, and if then the conditions can't be met, we want to cancel it immediately at that point already. So yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
Okay, thanks. Any more discussion on the amendment to the resolution? Lisa.
Mr. Bureau, IVSA notes. I'm just wondering how much of a difference this is going to make compared to point 2, as if we're going to cancel it on August or a few days later in September, like 2 weeks, we still probably don't have enough time to organize the last GA, no matter what, so it's still going to be an online event.
Okay, thank you. Fatima.
Fatima Mayet, IVSA in South Africa.
I move to amend the amendment stating should further adjustment made by the executive committee not be met, so carry on with 10 September 2019. Just to clarify that it's
Hold on. Don't talk yet. I mean, you can talk in general, but not right this second. I'm on it.
thank you.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, you can discuss first if you have something else to say.
I just thought that would just kind of make it clearer that it has nothing to do with point 2 and it's merely a continuation, because point 2 does not make it clear that if adjustments are made, whether or not the EXCO can then cancel the event. So it's just kind of adding some clarification.
Thank you. Any more discussion on the amendment to the amendment? The blue and red part. Yeah. It's fine.
Nicole, IVSA Austria, should it say further adjustments requested by the executive committee? Because the EXCO is not making the adjustments themselves. Should that make
That sounds friendly enough,
that friendly? Okay, friendly amendment.
unless you don't like it. Do you like that? Yeah, okay, great. Thank you.
Oh, and you have to delete me.
Unbelievable.
Thank you.
Sure. I can't hear you, so why don't we do a little microphone action?
Could you please put the blue in another color, because it's really hard to read.
Could you get better eyes, Katie? Yeah, I went there. How about a darker blue?
Yeah,
That's like the same color. Okay, we want green, so let me do green. Okay, we're doing green now. I find all of you annoying. Is that legible? Can you read that? Wow,
thank you, Terry.
you're welcome. Jackie Chan?
Jack Chapman, IVSA UK and Ireland. I believe that those two lines should be added together, because even though we're following the EXCO's order, the above condition might not be met. So there's a chance you do everything the EXCO's told you to do, but the above condition is not being met.
Jackie Chan, I won't lie, I have no idea what you're saying.
So if you delete the red part, the whole sentence meaning that the EXCO's, the OC needs to follow adjustment made by the EXCO. But you should also remember that the above conditions should still be met. If you take out the red bit, that means all you have to do is follow the EXCO's adjustment without meeting the above condition. That's how I read it.
So you're saying you wanted to say, should further adjustments requested by the executive committee and the above conditions not be met?
Exactly.
Wouldn't it be amazing if you did that? I move
I move
to amend the amendment
the amendment
to say,
to say, should further adjustments requested by the executive committee not be met, and the above condition not being met, Right. Not be met.
I'm gonna fix it.
When the IVSA has applied, you've got an amendment on an amendment on an amendment on an amendment.
Yeah.
You've got too many, so you've got to just pass this, then come back to it.
I'm only,
You're on,
no, I'm not. I'm not that many deep.
you are, you're 3 deep. You are-
This would be 3 deep, which is allowed. This is the 3rd one. We can amend this, but we can't amend again. But what he's doing is fine. Okay, Jackie Chan, let's try one last time. I'm gonna type.
And the above conditions not be met.
Add a second word. Is that your motion?
Indeed. And take out the red, let's see.
Yeah, that was already part of it. Okay. So now this amendment to the amendment to the amendment is the orange part. How do you feel about the orange part? Orange. Orange. Yeah, that's not what you just said.
Fatima Mayeng's IVSA in South Africa. So the above conditions implies that we're referring to the further adjustment by the executive committee. I do think, well, I move to amend the amendment to read.
That one you actually can't do.
Oh, can't I? So I think it's, you're almost repeating the same thing where further adjustments requested by the executive committee as well as the above conditions both refer to exactly the same thing. So it should be i.e. the above conditions because they're the same.
Okay. Is there any more discussion on the orange, Kirsten?
Kirsten, I'm IVSA Austria. I don't think that is true because the above condition is whereas the OC has not provided sufficient proof and stuff like that, and formal billing and budget items. So it's not about the adjustment themselves, it's also about the other stuff. So I think that's why we're discussing the orange part now.
Yeah, very good, thank you. Okay, any more discussion on the orange part? Any objections to the motion? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, so now the motion is to add what's in green and remove what's in red. Any discussion on that amendment to the amendment? Okay, any objections to the motion? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, any discussion on the amendment to the resolution, which is the bolded point 3? Lisa?
Mr. Bureau, I have the amendments. I move to change the event may be cancelled to the event must be cancelled in order to make a difference with point 2.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on must versus may? Any objections to the amendment to the amendment? Hearing none, motion passes. Any more discussion on the amendment to the resolution? The bolded point 3. Any objections to the amendment to the resolution? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, now we're back to the main discussion, the resolution. Any comments on the resolution? Shira?
Sharon Sampson, IVSA South Africa. Move to amend the amendment to read point 2. To read, should the above condition not be met by 24 August 2019, the event may be further adjusted at the discretion of the executive committee, because we're saying cancelled in point 3. We can't cancel on the 24th and then again on the 10th.
Hey, you can't talk to her. Okay, it's her motion.
Okay, points of information then. What's the difference between point 2 and point 3?
I'm gonna look, you made a motion.
Motion, I don't know.
Do you want to withdraw it?
Yes.
Okay, then make your point of information. What did I do?
I just want to clarify, if point 2 is saying that we're going to adjust it by the 24th of August if nothing's changed, adjust or cancel it, then why are we saying again in point 3 if the adjustments aren't made?
So what's happening is in point 2, they have the option to ask for further adjustments or cancel, but if they choose further adjustments, then there was no option to cancel it again further down the line. So now there's just another option later in September to cancel again. Any more discussion on the resolution? Julia?
Julia Neves, IVSA Switzerland. I move to adjust point 1 in the following way. The OC shall demonstrate written contracts. And then, after a cultural evening, to add and to provide the EXCO with the amount of accommodation at each location and at what cost.
Is that what you wanted? Okay, is there a second? Okay, take a second, because I see a lot of confused looking looks. And then is there any discussion on the amendment to the resolution? You can talk first, Jeff.
So basically, I just wanted to bring this up because I think there's still a lot of confusion as to the accommodation. We don't know if it's going to be free or if it's not going to be free. There seem to be multiple locations. We don't know if there's going to be space in the locations. So I thought this would make it clarified a little bit.
Okay, thank you. Jadishi?
Swedish contracts, okay. Just about the written contracts. It might not be possible. We've spoken about the cultural differences of having a written contract. And I know for us, it'd be really nice to have them, but if they can't get it, so if the faculty just, it's not something they do, then that means we're going to have to cancel the event, which if they're going in the right way forward, I just don't think, because if that's written and this is approved, we will have to cancel it if we don't get a written contract. So I feel like we should take that out and kind of try and move that sort of thing. Okay, I move to amend the amendment and take out the written contract bit. So it should read the OC, so that I can't speak. Hang on.
Can you just take out written contracts amounting to a, I think so, demonstrate a budget. Oh. No, just take out written, sorry.
Is there a second? Any discussion on the amendment to the resolution? Jessica?
Jessica Kramer, IVSA Germany. Point of information. Would it be possible that the OC teams are providing a written contract record that they've spoken to somebody? They have oral documentation.
Thank you. I don't know. But it's been noted. Any more discussion on the amendment to the amendment? The word written being taken out. Simon?
Simon Krückemeier, IVSA Germany. I would just have one concern about if we don't take written contracts. I know it's really a cultural issue too, but like on international scale, it's like, I don't know, in other organizations, I guess written contracts are always taken to have a sure, like, because I guess like on international scale, like to take written contracts is what counts.
Thank you, Simon. Anya?
Just a comment on the written contracts to the chair. Also, for IVSA Congress in Krakow, we didn't have all the contracts written down because it's simply easier for the OC team to have donations from companies, and for donations you don't sign up contracts. It's better in case of taxing and generally better for OC, so I think written contracts are not always possible to have.
Thank you, Anya. Any more discussion on the amendment to the amendment? Lisa?
Basically, I can say names. I think the main issue is that having a written contract at this point would be very important reassurance to the GA, because we have a lot of uncertainties, and this is something that could give some stability to the situation.
Thanks, Lisa. Any more discussion on the amendment to the amendment? Kirsten?
Kristen Abraham, IVSA Austria. Is there any way we could word it that way that Jessica's question could still be in there, that they have like a written consent of the dean who is like sponsoring the accommodation, if I'm not wrong, that like they don't have a written contract, but they have like, okay, we spoke about it and I will do it. Signed. Is there any way we could word it that way? So at least we have some reassuring.
Thank you. Any more discussion on the amendment to the amendment? Fatima?
So to address
Name.
Fatima Mayet, IVSA South Africa. With regards to having any form of contracts, I think to go on to the amendment that we're currently discussing, removing written does imply that you can have any other sorts of contracts that was just being referred to by Kirsten and Johan.
Thank you. Any more discussion on the amendment to the amendment? Okay, any objections to the amendment to the amendment? Are you objecting? Okay, we have an objection, so do a card raising vote. Get your cards. Get your cards. Okay, then it's what? Any discussion on standing at ease? Any objections to standing at ease? You're at ease. Okay, are you ready for the summary of what you're voting on? You're voting, hey, listen, stop talking. You're voting on the word written. So if you raise green cards, the word written will be removed. If you raise red cards, the word written will stay. But after that, we will go back to discussing everything that's bold. Okay? You have a minute. You have 30 seconds, so get it together. Hey, hello, hey, if you have questions, they cannot be asked to another country. Absolutely not. That's why there are buddies and officials here who are impartial. You should not be asking another country any questions. You're voting independently as an MO. So if you have a question, like raise your hand and someone will come. Okay, hey, your time is up, so everybody get ready. The chair calls the GA to order at 2:39 Croatia time. There was an objection to the motion to amend this amendment to remove the word written. So we are now voting on that. If you raise your green cards, the word written will be removed. If you raise your red cards, the word written will stay. Raise your green cards now. Cards down. Raise your red cards now. Okay, green cards have it. Now you discuss the bold part. Any discussion of the bold part? Welcome. Getting really involved today.
Thank you. My name is Carol, IVSA Austria. Shouldn't it, I think this is a bit worded a bit unclearly. Maybe it should somehow include the word information. For example, provide the EXCO with information about the amount of accommodation on each location, blah, blah, blah. Is that a friendly amendment? Is that what you were trying to say? I don't know.
Can you repeat it and then I'll decide if it's
So,
friendly or not?
and provide the EXCO with information about the amount of accommodation. I feel like that's what she was trying to say with her motion. It's just a bit unclear.
You like that? Okay, then yeah, it's friendly enough. Anya, is that a hand or just waving stuff? Okay, I'll add it for later.
And then just I would say Krakow about the amount of accommodation and the parliamentary inquiry. How many days in advance also need to provide a amount of spots for the symposium?
Brandon?
90.
90 days. Did everybody get that? The OC is required to tell EXCO how many spots there will be available at the event. 90 days before the event, so 3 months before the event. Jessica?
Jessica Kramer, IVSA Germany. I don't know if this would be a friendly amendment, but I think the sentence needs to be completely reworded. So I move to amend the amendment to state and provide the EXCO with information about the costs of accommodation at each location. What now? Oh, we're not allowed to talk.
Just stand there. Is that sentence what you said? The one that I put in the middle of everything?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna make it bold. I like making things bold.
May I give a quick explanation?
Pause, please. Is there a second? Now you can.
Okay. Jessica Kramer, IVSA Germany. The reason I would reword it this way is because the way I understand the costs are what we're interested in, and it just sounds nicer that way. And the amount is there's no what you call it, like amount of. Yeah, I don't think it's necessary to say the amount.
Okay, thank you. So now we're discussing replacing the red wording of the amendment with the black wording of the amendment. Lauren? There's a microphone to your left.
Lauren from Blanda, IVSA Switzerland. Actually, I don't like to change that because we need information about the costs, actually about the quality, and if there is enough space for everyone, and who will pay for that. Because if delegates don't have to pay, maybe OC has to pay. So we want information about the whole thing, not only about the costs.
Okay, thank you. Fatima, sure, go.
Fatima Mayed, IVSA South Africa. I understand with the amendment to the amendment, it has been made because amount of accommodation, the diction doesn't make sense. And if I'm correct, it's referring to, it doesn't make sense to use a choice of words like that, an amount in relation to accommodation. However, with the amendment, you're completely removing any kind of worry with the how many people they will be able to accommodate, and you're only referring to costs. So maybe it's just a friendly amendment to change diction rather than remove an entire point.
Kirsten?
Kirsten Abraham, IVSA Austria. I completely agree with Fatima because when they did the presentation, it seemed like they would say we can take 120 people, but we're not sure yet, and we have to see how many spots we have. And then he said that they expect to have 61,000 euros because of the fees, but if you're not sure about how many delegates you can actually intake, you don't know if they even get those 61,000 euros in the best case scenario.
Okay, thank you. Jessica?
Jessica Kramer, IVSA Germany. I think I understand what the previous point of delegates were made, and though I don't feel it's necessary because the OC team will make sure that there's enough spots for the delegates they allow, which just makes sense. But I would then move to amend the amendment to state and provide the EXCO with information about the costs and capacity of accommodation at each location. So friendly amendment.
Technically not friendly, so we do actually have to talk about it. You guys are really making me work today. Okay, all we're talking about is the blue part, the words and capacity. Okay, then sure, Jackie, go for it.
Again, most times again, friendly amendment to say executive committee and not extra.
All right. Okay, any discussion about the addition of the words and capacity to this amendment to the amendment? Any objections to the motion? Hearing none, motion passes. No, change the color. Okay, now we're back to discussing this amendment to the amendment, which is replacing the red sentence with the black sentence. Any more discussion on red sentence versus black sentence? Any objections to the motion? Hearing none, motion passes. What up? Okay. Any more comments or questions about the resolution as a whole? Javish? Javish?
I move the previous question.
Hold on. I don't think we do second. So it's a motion. Let's second it. Is there a second? Okay. Any objections? Okay, there's an objection. That's really annoying, but okay. Okay, we need to do a card raising vote because they objected moving the previous question. So if you're gonna raise your green cards, we would continue discussing. And if you raise your red cards, we'll move the previous question. No, that's wrong. If you raise your green cards, we will move the previous question. If you raise your red cards, we will not move the previous question. Right? That's better. That's not correct though. Sure.
Akil, IVSA, please explain what the previous question is so that people know before they vote.
Moving the previous question means the whatever the main motion on the floor is has to be voted on, and there's no more discussion allowed. So the previous question in this case was approving the resolution as a whole. So when she said move the previous question, it ends all debate, and we're supposed to vote. But first you vote on whether or not to move the previous question, and then you vote on it. Loren, what is it? I'm not done explaining. I'm still talking. But also, you can't just say, can we have a stand at ease? You still can't do that. Where was I? Oh, Meryl, wake up. Okay, which card means what? It's confusing for me too because you objected. Green is with your objection.
Green's with the motion.
Green's with the motion. Okay, so green card would be you want to move the previous question and we will go to a vote. Red would mean you don't want to move the previous question and we will keep discussing the resolution. Yeah.
Loren from Flanders, IVSA Switzerland, I move to stand at ease.
Is there a second? Any discussion on standing at ease? For instance, why do you need to?
I want to talk to an official.
Okay. Any objections? Hearing none, you are at ease.
That's why I think I've read that's how it is. I'm funny.
Hey, everybody. We just need to make a decision on what the green card's gonna mean and what the red card's gonna mean. And I don't know how clear I've made it, probably not very. Yeah, so I'm gonna make it so that we're voting on his objection. Cause he objected and I have to. No, cause if you didn't object, then we would have voted on moving the previous question. But you objected, which means we have to vote on your objection, not moving the previous question. Otherwise, why object? Because you would have just voted no when I moved the previous question. Hey, who's the chair? Me or you? Me. I get to decide. I'm gonna decide.
I'm so confused.
Oh, yes, yeah. They're gonna explain. Doesn't actually.
It doesn't matter, it's just.
Green means, which one did you say? Green means we keep discussing. Red means we vote. Green, discussion. Red, vote. We apologize for the confusion. If you need help, raise your hand. Green, we're going to keep discussing the resolution. Red, we're going to vote on the resolution now, so no more discussion of it. We will vote on it as it is. Yeah, I'm saying goodbye to Daniel. Green, keep discussing the resolution. Red, vote on the resolution as it is right now. Final vote done. Green, discussion. Red, vote. Green, discussion. Red, vote. Okay, does anybody need more time? Okay, I also see countries talking to countries that aren't their country, which I've already told you is a big no-no. If you're chatting about your lives, okay, but somehow I doubt that's what's happening. Yeah. Absolutely. Green will mean we will keep discussing this resolution. You can make changes and talk about it. Red, we're going to vote on it now, finalize it, no more talking. Okay, green discussion, red vote. The chair calls the GA back to order at 3:01 Croatia time. We will now vote on moving the previous question. You ready? Raise your green cards. Cards down. Raise your red cards. Okay, there's no clear majority. We have to do a roll call vote. What? Okay, so the problem is when you do a card raising vote, the chair is supposed to judge by eye if there's a majority without counting, and I couldn't tell. So we do a roll call vote. So basically Jackie's gonna go down the line and you need to say out loud, one person from each, like each of your votes. So either 2 votes for, 1 vote for, 1 against, 2 votes against, or abstaining. It's the same thing. Okay, green, you can just say 2 greens, a green and a red, 2 reds. We'll just do the colors, okay? Because I don't want to lose you. You're gonna verbally say 2 greens, 2 reds, a red and a green, and it's the same thing. Well, what am I writing on the board? Green, red? I've said it so many times. Okay, I'm gonna do it for you. Don't worry. Here we go. I'm gonna make a slide. Here we go. Is that clear? And you're just gonna say it out loud now and she's gonna count them, okay? Roll call vote, let's go.
IVSA Algeria. IVSA Austria. IVSA Belgium. IVSA China. IVSA Croatia. IVSA Czech Republic. IVSA Denmark.
2 reds.
IVSA Estonia.
2 reds.
IVSA Finland. IVSA France. IVSA Germany. IVSA Ghana. IVSA Greece.
1 red, 1 green.
IVSA Indonesia.
2 greens.
IVSA Iraq. IVSA Italy. Reconnecting. I lost my line. Okay. 2 reds. Italy. Thank you. IVSA the Netherlands. IVSA Poland. IVSA Portugal. IVSA Romania. IVSA Savannah. IVSA South Africa. IVSA South Korea. IVSA Spain. IVSA Switzerland. IVSA Taiwan. IVSA Thailand. IVSA Tunisia. IVSA Turkey.
1 red, 1 green.
IVSA UK and Ireland. With a vote of 35 to 23, we will vote now on the final resolution.
Okay, so the resolution is as written in front of you and we're voting now. So card raising vote. Green will be to approve it, red will be don't approve it. Jessica, what's up?
Point of information,
What happens if we don't approve it? Like what, will we then not have a resolution? Will we write a new one?
Then we will not have a resolution. Well, this is your resolution that was edited by you. So you can either have it or not have it. The only other option would be if you decide you don't want this one, but do want one, you can bring it up in any other business during GA tomorrow. Ellen?
Point of order. I propose consent of the two-thirds majority. We did not hear that.
So I just made a point of order because moving to the previous question requires a two-thirds majority, and I would recall hearing 35 to 28, which is 60%. I'm really sorry.
Hold on, I'm just doing the math.
Good evidence.
Ellen, the vote was 35 red, 23 green, which is 60%. Yeah, I understand. We need 2/3, which is 66%. So that is correct. And we don't move the previous question. Kylie?
Because not IVSA SAPA, we were voting on the objection, not whether or not we were moving the question.
Yeah, we decided not to do that.
Okay.
So, never mind. With a vote of 35 against and 23 for, we're gonna keep discussing. You voted to discuss it. What would you like to say? Jessica?
It's in point 1 that they have to demonstrate a contract. Well, that would define something that they can show us. A contract is an agreement between two parties. So technically it would be written, and we already expressed that that might be very hard, which then would mean that they won't meet the deadline and it will have to be cancelled, which is why I think we need to change the word contract to some other word, and I hope someone in the GA has a suggestion. So,
Crystal?
Crystal Bernard, IVSA France. I move to amend the resolution with instead of contracts, agreements. I don't know if it's a friendly amendment or not.
Probably not that friendly, so we're gonna talk about it. Okay, was there a second? Yeah, it sounds like there are. So now the motion on the floor is amending point 1 to replace the word contracts with agreements. Fatima?
Fatima Mayet, IVSA in South Africa. So I think by pure fact that you can have a verbal contract does not necessarily imply that it has to be written. Contract is, in actual fact, an agreement between two parties. So you're merely being redundant by using the two words.
Okay, thank you. Any more discussion on this? Anyone who hasn't spoken? Jessica?
Jessica Kramer, IVSA Germany. To demonstrate something, you have to show something. You can't show an oral agreement. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Daniel?
Daniel Dunn, IVSA, Mexico, in a lot of even European countries, you are able to demonstrate a verbal agreement as per a recording as well. Just FYI.
Great information, thank you. Next comment? Any more discussion on the amendment? Okay, are there any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, any more discussion on the resolution as a whole? Akil?
I make a motion to strike out everything from. Okay, give me one comment. There we go.
Oh, yeah, I'm waiting.
I move to strike out everything from this, right at the top, all the way to the end, at the end of the executive committee. And replace it with the GA resolves to cancel the 68th IVSA symposium in Morocco.
I know it.
Be quiet. Hey, be quiet. Just sit there. No, sit there. Okay, is there a second? Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Guys, the reason I'm doing this is for pure sense of this is starting to feel like Brexit. No offense to the British people. You need to make a decision. Currently, we're discussing tiny little details for hours and hours, but we don't, from the sense of it is that people don't know if they want to even have this symposium as a whole, with the problems that have been encountered, whether or not they're happy with the questions or not. So the discussion is therefore, do you want to have it? Otherwise, the small things that have been brought up in terms of the agreements and contracts, etc., those are small items that don't really need it, but the general sense or the sense is that there's certain people or there's certain countries that don't want to have or don't feel comfortable at all allowing the symposium to carry on, and therefore are setting very strict and very stringent rules versus having an agreement and just going by it. So that is why I'm putting that.
Thank you. Tabishi?
So the whole point of having this resolution was that we wanted to give Morocco a chance, and we're adding all these points in because they have worked hard, and if we do go ahead and cancel it right now, then we're going to go to SG and all their hard work will be over. So that I'm just pointing that out, we're having this resolution, so we're giving them a chance.
Thank you. Lauren?
Lorenzo from the IVSA Switzerland. I agree with Tabishi, but at the point we really need a solution. Is it possible? Is it not? And actually, all the stuff they worked on, they can still use for future symposiums. So it's not like the work is just gone. It's just like they can do it maybe when they have a better strategy.
Thank you. Hand it back to Emmanuel. Stand up.
Yes, I'm saying that. So Emmanuel Meyer, IVSA Germany. I would have a question for you, ex-girls. I would love to hear your point. I would like to hear your point of view about the OC team of Morocco, because you have been in exchange with them and we haven't. And I would like to know, like how flexible they were and how much did you exchange with them, and how much they were willing or not willing to to do a like change. Does that make sense? No. Okay, I'm going to say that again. So I would like to know when you're like changing with them, like talking with them, were they willing to so how much did you try to how many conferences you had, and out of these X conferences, how was the feeling? Were they willing to change a bit, or they were really adamant, or a bit flexible?
Okay,
For the future, I would like to know.
great. Divici, answer just that question.
Which kind of answer. I've had multiple meetings, I can't remember off the top of my head, and over the phone and the interweb. They've always been really forthcoming, really happy to change and change things. In fact, they were just talking about lowering the formal dinner budget by doing a buffet instead. So every point I've asked them about, they have said, we're willing to look into this, we're willing to change it, and then they have looked into it, and certain things they already have changed.
Thank you. Jessica?
Jessica Kramer, IVSA Germany, would like to make a parliamentary inquiry if it is possible for the GA to cancel, like if we have the power to cancel the symposium.
Brandon?
So technically, it is not directly mentioned in the bylaws and constitution. Rather, it is mentioned that the GA is the supreme decision-making body of IVSA. So since there is no already established rule about it, if the GA decides to do that, the GA decides to do that.
Milos?
Milos Borajic, IVSA Serbia. So, because we are not allowed to vote, what will happen if you guys decide to cancel that SG? What is next?
The next step would be that there has to be a call for a new host of a special General Assembly.
On this meeting?
Well, it would fall to EXCO to make that decision.
Okay.
Okay, Mariam?
Hey, this is a bit personal.
Mariam, say your name, please.
Yeah. Mariam bin Selim, IVSA EXCO. I think, as Steph said, the decision we made as EXCO is we wanted to give Morocco a chance. And I wanted to say, like, to make a reminder that this is actually the first time a North African chapter nominate themselves to organize something. And I'm very, like, I personally believe, like, very strongly, if we're gonna cancel this, then I don't think we're gonna have during the next few years, any North African chapter nominated themselves. And I don't know if you're aware how many African members we have here, but they're not that many. And if you do this, you're gonna continue having events in Europe and in America and all those strong countries that are willing to do things. And again, this is the first time. So we're dealing with a chapter like this for the first time, and we're just trying to figure out every problem as we go. And it's not as easy as you think. And North Africa is not Europe, and you need to keep that in mind. And I'm about to cry.
Katie?
Katie Lewis, IVSA Germany. I don't understand why we are voting on this now, because we discussed it this morning. Maybe some people weren't there, who were in their beds, not attending the GA. But we discussed this morning and we said together that we would want to give them a chance. And there's no use in going back and forth. We're not going to go somewhere. So why are we voting on this now?
Okay, thank you. Very heated. Yes, you may speak.
Ivan Hiltić, IVSA Croatia. So first of all, where were you all in Krakow when Morocco was the only one who was nominated for the symposium? And second of all, like being now the OC, I can tell you that most of the things fall together really close to the event. So I don't know why you're being so harsh, because many of you haven't had experience doing the congresses or symposiums. So just think about that.
Okay, clarification, this is an amendment to the resolution, so the resolution is still on the floor. So you're able to discuss the resolution and this amendment, if that makes sense. So we're not talking about a whole new thing, we're not just talking about canceling the event. You can also explain why you don't want to cancel the event and go back to discussing the resolution, because we are gonna have to vote and go one way or the other. Okay, Hannah.
Hannah Lee Barnell, IVSA SACMA. I have made a few points throughout the day, so I apologize if this might be a long-winded, but it's about being the OC of an SGA, and here we go. So first of all, I just want to make it clear to the chair and the GA that there was no indication that this GA from anyone from SACMA has indicated a willingness to operate as a backup. Therefore, it should not be assumed that we immediately have a backup to not having Morocco or to voting against Morocco for the 68th GA. Secondly, it was mentioned previously that we don't always want to rely on the US to be a backup. And I think, I can't speak for everyone, but I think we also agree that we vote as a GA, so that's not particularly in our interest either. So if this is something that we want to discuss, it should be an entire point of its own at a future GA and not necessarily discussed right now in a moment of a little bit more emotion and maybe crisis. Third, the reason SACMA is a backup is because it's the largest MO of IVSA and it has the most IVSA members, including some from the UK and Ireland because they're AVMA accredited. It has the greatest financial support from the AVMA, so in short notice we can act, and it has the most experience planning SGAs. But understand that it's much more expensive for everyone to come to the US, and you're asking a lot of the students, faculties, and universities that did not necessarily ask to host in the first place. And that an SGA should be considered just a GA for organizational purposes. It is not for parties, optional tours, extracurricular activities, and it's all of those things are secondary to planning the GA. So the tertiary option is to do it online. The secondary option is to just host it in person and primarily have GA in just a location. Fifth, the symposium back when I was on the OC in January 2017 was not particularly in these same instances. The host country actually withdrew. If I'm correct, they were unable to host, and that was on their own accord. Personally speaking, I think Morocco has showed a ton of initiative and are there in no place to withdraw their own candidacy, which we all voted on, well, you all voted on in the previous GA or symposium. So therefore the conditions can't quite be comparable and applied. And then just personally speaking, I noticed some other countries and official members walking around to gain candidacies during parts of, or to campaign during parts of this GA, which I think is inappropriate and out of order. And I think it's really important to hold ourselves with professional conduct and not to campaign during GA to other countries. Let us make our own votes and then we can discuss it in GA.
Thank you. Any more discussion on the amendment to the resolution, Kirsten?
Firstly, I'm IVSA Austria, so because it got a little bit emotional, I just want to state I am not here and want to take anything away. I just stated my concerns because as a previous OC, and I managed an event, I know how hard it is to gain sponsors, to get people there, to organize everything basically. Of course, I did it on my own, but it seems like now I'm in a place where I feel a little bit personally attacked because like I feel some part of this GA maybe thinks I'm a bad person for like proposing changes and stuff. I just want to say I did not do anything of that, and I'm not a bad guy here. I just wanted to state my concerns and discuss it because that's what we're here for. And yeah, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this is getting very personal and about people and about the GA, and it needs to be about the amendment. So I'm gonna call people out of order no matter how emotional you are from now on. Georgios.
Okay, this works.
Georgios, stand up.
Sorry. Georgios Petsoda, IVSA Greece. I move to amend the amendment to include from the initial resolution the part up until, therefore, so be resolved by the GA that, because I believe at the very least it should include some semblance of reason why we are discussing canceling the event. Thank you.
What part do you want added?
What? The initial resolution?
Which part do you want added back in?
Everything before the 1 to 3s, like where all the whereas is.
This part.
Yeah, and the so be here resolved.
Okay, this part.
This part, yes. Thank you.
He wants to add in the blue part so there's reasons before we say we're canceling. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on adding in the blue part again? Any objections to adding in the blue part? Hearing none, we've added in the blue part. Okay. Now return to discussing, I guess it's everything that's bolded and getting rid of the red. Jessica.
Jessica Kramer, IVSA Germany. I don't think the GA should decide. I think the way the resolution is stated, and we all elected the ExCo, they have the knowledge, and they've been speaking to the OC to then cancel or resolve any issues. So, I don't know.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, go ahead. You're the only hand.
Claudia Bishan user in Poland. Just one thing, guys, we cannot see anything from here on the spot. Can you enlarge it a little bit?
Sure thing. Okay, any more comments on the amendment to the resolution?
Okay. I believe we should do, I'm a server from English from IVSA. I think we should give Morocco the chance to try because they worked pretty hard. In the end, I guess if they cannot follow up with what they have to do, they could just host the SGA and not throw all the work away.
Okay, thank you. Christy.
Christina Mazida, IVSA Greece. Actually, Morocco has nominated themselves in 2014 in Austria, but we, 16? Yeah, anyway, in Austria, but we preferred Malaysia, if I remember well. So I think it will be a great change for the North Africa to host a symposium, even if it will not work as well as we want, because even some better countries, economically better countries with better presentation, has many issues. So at least if they couldn't host probably the event and they couldn't find as much sponsors as they want, we will see how it goes to see how we can handle the same situations for other congresses, for kind of similar countries with economical issues and trouble with sponsoring funding.
Thank you, Christy. Fatima.
Fatima Mayet, IVSA South Africa.
I think it's very important to consider the economic background as well as the cultural background of a country like Morocco. By cancelling the event, you are then limiting where and in which continents symposiums and congresses can take place. Should the event happen and not be as other events have been, it will merely be a stepping stone and a learning curve for everyone, but it won't make Morocco feel as if they've kind of been put out because they couldn't adhere to European standards or Western standards. And I believe that it's incredibly important, based on the opportunities that they have within their country and the resources that they have available to them, to allow them this opportunity. They're incredibly passionate about what they want to be doing. And I believe that we will give them, they have this month now, and the EXCO, having the background knowledge and having worked with them before, and the new EXCO will then take that on, should then decide with an educated guess, and we shouldn't just then kind of deny them this opportunity. Because if you think of what will then happen in the future, is they will think, oh no, we can't do this, it's not meant for us. And there's almost a sense of kind of partitioning who can and can't do certain things, purely because of the different cultures that we have. And it kind of goes against everything IVSA stands for, which is we want to combine everything and bring all cultures together. And we want to have to experience different things. It may not be the best experience, but it's all about the experience and about giving someone else a chance, regardless of how good or bad it may be.
Is there any more discussion on the amendment to the resolution? Okay. Elisa, sure.
So I have say notes. I think we've all just discussed we've had a lot to think about, so I move to the discussion.
Okay, thank you. So she moved the previous question. Is there a second? Okay, now we have to vote on moving the previous question. So it's a card raising vote again. So I'm gonna do it, don't you worry. Okay, so moving the previous question means the amendment. So what we're gonna be talking about. So green will be, if you do green for moving the previous question, we will vote. Red, we will discuss. Sure thing. Okay, then are there any objections to moving the previous question? I guess you can hear you.
We don't understand it. Please explain it again.
Okay, moving the previous question means that we vote immediately on the motion, which is the amendment. And then I have to ask if there are any objections. So if you object to moving the previous question, then we have to vote on whether or not you want to move the previous question. Otherwise, we just vote on the issue, the motion. So if none of you object to moving the previous question, then we will move to a vote on the amendment now. Okay, are there any objections? Hearing none, the previous question has been moved, and we will now vote on the amendment to the resolution. So it has to be a card raising vote. So green cards will be in support of the amendment, and red cards will be back to the original writing. So we'll keep the red and get rid of the last line. So green is canceling Morocco. Green, cancel. Red, work on the resolution. Green, cancel. Red, resolution. Are you guys ready to vote? Okay, raise your green cards now. Raise your red cards. Okay. Motion does not pass. You guys, we've been here before. We're back to talking about the resolution again. Okay, and we only have 5 more minutes. Colin.
Colin Kramer, IVSA SABMA. I move to a discussion on the resolution and vote on this resolution on the 68th IVSA.
Similar to like moving the previous question almost?
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, are there any objections to moving the previous question? Hearing none, we will now vote on the resolution. Okay, green cards will be approving the resolution as written right in front of you. Red cards will be don't approve it, and like I said earlier, no resolution. Green, resolution. Raise them up. Okay, down. Red, no resolution. Okay, motion passes. Congratulations, that was a lot, and we did it. Chair will now entertain a motion to go into recess. Christy, any discussion? Any objections? Hearing none, you're at recess. Probably don't leave, because there's always an announcement. Oh, Czech Republic loves announcements.
Okay, so guys, you have 10 minutes break and then workshop. So please, everybody meet here in front of the GA room in 10 minutes for workshops.
Does anyone else have announcements? Okay, you heard what to do. Good work, team.